Hey everyone, this is my review for Batwoman Season 3, Episode 11, Broken Toys. The description for the episode says, just when it seems things can get worse, Batwoman's identity is once again at risk of being exposed, and some of Gotham's most villainous unite. Sophie joins Luke on a mission, and Alice gets into Mary's head. At first I thought we were in for another horror episode. I mean, just hearing Vesper's voice is a jump scare. Then there was that creepy doll that Marcus left at the clinic that kinda looked like him. The Bat team were worried Marcus was gonna reveal Batwoman's identity at the press conference, but instead he called her out for having zero accountability and announced plans to improve Arkham Asylum with his power as Wayne CEO. Talking about accountability, mental health treatment, he's really in his activist era. Like, Twitter activists are always going on about how Bruce Wayne should be using his money to provide resources and save the city, not dressing up as a road and then beating up poor people. Last year I pointed out Mary's the hero they're looking for, but obviously things changed. Now Marcus is doing that and he's the villain. It makes me wonder if that's what they based his speech on. Though that's not exactly what he's doing. He doesn't think there's anything wrong with him, Joker, or the Arkham inmates. That's why he refused Jada's help. He kinda has a point. It's ableist to suggest certain people need to be fixed. But like the warden said, that doesn't apply to the inmates he wanted to free. So much for his activism. Marcus's great idea was basically prison labor, a work release program turning the inmates into his goons. He freed Victor ZSASZ to kill Jada and get the video of Marcus killing his father. He wanted Batwoman to show up, but Ryan was already there because she also wanted the video. I thought Jada would find out Ryan was in prison and didn't climb her way to the top after Victor recognized her. Instead, we got a heartfelt moment as Jada revealed that she never meant to leave Ryan in the system. All these years, Jada thought she gave Ryan to a loving family, only to learn the doctor took her money and left Ryan at a fire station. Right when I thought Ryan was gonna say, "I'm Batwoman," as her last words, she attacked Victor instead, but Jada still realized it anyway because she has a brain unlike Jacob Kane. I love the scene where Ryan told Jada what she wanted from her mother because those were the lines that she told Sophie in episode 2. But Jada ruined the moment, reaching the conclusion that abandoning Ryan was a good thing because she kept Marcus and he's a sociopath. There's a middle ground you're missing there, Jada. Mary still blamed herself for Marcus's return and the Hunter's death. I get they're trying to be supportive, but don't the team realize that they're treating Mary exactly the same way that led to Poison Mary? Constantly invalidating her feelings, telling her that wasn't you. Once again, Alice is the only one there for her, straight up saying it's all your fault, you gotta bury those feelings and convince yourself he deserved it. Since Mary gave Lucius AI to Marcus, Alice had the great idea of getting help fixing it from the woman who built it, Kiki Roulette. At first, Kiki didn't want to help because she spent years trying to change her ways, but she decided fixing the Joy Buzzer could help make up for her crimes. Maybe I just like pretty lights, but I absolutely love the Joker's lair, and there were so many Easter eggs. Alice was totally fangirling over his toys, like that explosive bear that killed 5 kids. Mary tried to get advice from Kiki and moving past that, but Kiki admitted she never did. All that help was taking responsibility for her actions. Luke and Sophie broke into Marcus's office to get the AI and learned he was working with Kiki. Everything she told Mary was true, she just never took her therapist's advice, and neither did she because that was her Lincoln self. With the Joybuster fix, Marcus and Kiki were gonna kill the team, and I kinda got the Arrow Bridge fight I wanted with Sophie and Luke versus Marcus and Kiki versus the Gotham City Sirens. Mary decided to follow Harley's advice while Alice wanted to be Beth again, except she won't put in the work, she just wants the Joybuster. On first watch, that was a huge shock for me. I thought Kiki would use the Joybuster on Alice, not that she'd do it herself. But on rewatch, I noticed the setup with Alice's reactions to Mary calling her a sociopath and Kiki saying the Joybuster could return someone's sympathy. It seems they're ignoring that Sophia and Enigma created Alice, even though that fits with her not wanting to put in the work. She didn't even go insane on her own, it was all hypnosis. I get the feeling they're trying to imply Beth was always insane and the Cartwrights just freed her, cause why was she fascinated with Kiki as a kid? The Joybuster bringing Beth back is actually a fitting ending cause technically Joker killed her the same night he used it on Marcus, but once again, wrapping up her story like this is worrying me that the show got cancelled. Finally, after Jada told her not to put up walls, Ryan admitted to pushing Sophie away. Well, that's definitely over. All I'm gonna say about that scene is it felt so fun and natural. A certain Archer and Hacker couple wish they were wild more. I know I keep saying this, but even though Lesson from the Pig still number 1, these last 3 episodes gotta be competing for second place because they've all been so good. In terms of writing, this one's better than Toxic, but I don't know about direction. This was Cam's first time directing and just wow, he really gave us great cinematography, fight scenes, everything Eric Wallace could never. Once again, it really felt like the show takes place in Gotham, and I noticed less of the gray filter, which I'm thanking Cam for. Usually it makes white people stand out, looking all vampire-like, but most of the cast are POC. Now Ryan and Jada were glowing in those scenes in the office while Victor looked kinda dry. It's amazing we got some of Batwing's best scenes while Cam was directing. Seriously, that shot of Batwing flying towards Marcus was awesome. Usually when an actor directs, their character barely appears, but it makes sense because Cam loved the character and they just used his stunt double. That's why Batwing finally kept his helmet on. Although Luke does look great in that Batwing suit. Everyone does because the fashion has seriously improved this season. Ryan's blue outfit and that bow were amazing. It might be her best look yet. Sophie also looked great and I love Marcus's new suit. I really like the white jacket, but I think this one's my favorite. Once again, the people asking for campy Batman should be watching Batwoman. Look at that layer and Kiki's outfit. I'm so glad they abandoned the Dark Knight trilogy inspiration this season. If there was any doubt about it, Marquis can definitely hold his own as the big bad just as well as Ivy. Nick plays this role so well, you can tell he loves it, and so do I. But after that scene with the warden, I was like, oh shit, he's a villain, I'm not supposed to like him. Well, now here I am loving Kiki too. It was such a great surprise to see Judy Reyes. I love her on One Day at a Time and Jane the Virgin. Kiki and Marcus are clearly gonna use the laughing gas in the city, but I'm guessing he's keeping that last joy buster jolt for Ryan to make her the Batwoman who laughs. Kinda like Jerome and Jeremiah on Gotham. He'll probably give Alice a fake joy buster so she actually has to put in the work to become Bev, and I think Mary and Alice are probably gonna turn themselves in at the end of the season. I'm also hoping Marcus freed Black Mask, Killer Croc, and Mad Hatter, so we'll get a huge fight with them. For now, I love having ZSASZ back. He was cool last season, but now he did his own take on Gotham's version, and it was so much fun. I love his little one-liners and transitions, and how invested he got in Ryan and Jada's story, because I'm so there with him. Javicia and Robin's acting was so good, and I love how they did that reveal. Kinda reminded me of how Moira learned Oliver was Arrow, and just like Moira, I'm glad Jada's not a villain, but a complicated woman with good intentions. But she didn't say why she gave Ryan up in the first place. I did have two problems with this episode. First, the Force Wildmore drama with Sophie constantly picking the worst moments to bring up her kiss with Ryan. Even Ryan told her they had bigger things to focus on. Well, at least that's over, and we learned Sophie was into Ryan while she was with Julia. The girl has standards, it's not her fault she got stuck with Kate and Julia after she came out. The second thing was how they kept saying Marcus has everything and Ryan has nothing, and that's why Marcus wouldn't reveal her identity. Like, no, have y'all met Marcus? Finally, there were so many Easter eggs to Batman lore, including that Harley Quinn name drop. There was one before, but that was more of a fun Easter egg, while this one gave us a bit more of her history. We know Kiki was Joker's first partner who took part in his most iconic moments, so Harley came later in Batman's career. That's kinda keeping with comic book canon since she wasn't created till the 90s. Since Harley was helping Kiki reform, I feel like they're following the New 52 where Harley wasn't with Joker for that long. By now, Batman's been gone for like 6 years, so he killed Joker sometime in 2016, and Kiki left Joker 10 years ago, which leaves around 5 years for Harley's whole story. It's easy to explain why she's not in Gotham because we know she was locked up in Argus and Arrow. Since Oliver rewrote history after Crisis, maybe the Suicide Squad was never shut down, Waller and Deadshot never died, and Harley's been going on missions with them this whole time. The one problem is Harley Ivy probably never happened because of Ren Ivy, but since we're having that whole Jane the Virgin reunion with Kiki and Ivy, if Rosario Dawson wasn't busy in Mandalorian, I'd say bring her over to play Harley. Some other Easter eggs in Joker's lair were Harley's mallet, what looked like a take on Harley's Jester outfit, and of course the crowbar Joker used to kill Jason Todd. Vesper mentioned Robin before, so we know he exists, but we never knew which one. Well, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe for similar content. Leave your thoughts on the video or episode in the comments below. Thanks for watching and have a good day. Goodbye.